Hello, my name is Rebecca, and today I'll be talking to you about a common condition that affects hundreds of students like me and you. Sleep insomnia is a condition where people have difficulty sleeping and resting. The symptoms for sleep insomnia are difficulties falling asleep, waking up frequently in the middle of the night, tiredness, and bad moods. According to the University Health Center, most college students get a max of 6 hours of sleep, and only 10% of college students get at least 8 hours of sleep per night, which is the recommended amount of sleep you need. Why do you need a good night's sleep? Sleep restores our energy, fights off illness and fatigue by strengthening our immune system, helps us think more clearly and creatively. It strengthens our memory and produces a more positive mood and better performance throughout the day. Insomnia can be both short-term and a long-term condition. In a study on victims of insomnia, a group of universities have found evidence for subtyping insomnia by way of daytime symptoms, such as tension or abnormal moods. 332 subjects participated in the experiment, with a larger number of women than men. Among these participants, the study found that insomnia associated to a mental disorder and a spontaneous insomnia cause abnormal moods and low sleepiness, while those with insomnia relate to the connection between normal biological functions and thoughts, emotion, and behavior had poor sleep habits, such as staying up late or getting up too early, tension during the day, and low fatigue. Thus, the universities conclude that there are two basic insomnia subtypes, a learned insomnia and one caused by internal instabilities, with the latter having more severe side effects during the day. But what causes insomnia? My partner German Cortez will tell you more.
Thank you, Rebecca. There are many factors that can trigger insomnia. Drugs can be a role in hindering sleep. There are many consequences of sleep loss. Illness is more likely due to a weaker immune system, and it also causes more stress in your daily life. Studies have shown that sleep loss can cause people to gain weight and contribute to obesity. Insomnia can also increase in mental health problems like depression, drowsy driving, and decreased performance for athletes. Interestingly enough, there's a study done by a group of psychologists that studied a phenomenon called paradoxical insomnia. Paradoxical insomnia is when a person reports to have very little sleep when in reality they slept normally. Their perception of sleep is distorted, and they perceive their sleep as being wide awake. Those who do have it have an overactive mind before they fall asleep. 5% of the people who have some form of insomnia have paradoxical insomnia. That's it for now, guys. I'm going to toss this over to Joe Bell.
Hi, I'm Joseph Bell, and there have been several sleeping aids and treatments developed to help us sleep better. For example, melatonin is a natural chemical produced by the body that regulates sleep, and one that has been created artificially in order to help people get to sleep and stay asleep. However, while the standard dosage of melatonin is enough for the average person, insomnia sufferers have reported its effectiveness less than stellar. In clinical trials to test the effectiveness of increased doses of medicinal melatonin on insomnia sufferers, results showed improvements in many sleep and daytime parameters, including sleep quality and latency, learning alertness, and quality of life. Furthermore, the increase proved superior to other drugs used to fight insomnia, such as benzodiazepines that have side effects of next-day hangover, dependence, and impairment of memory. Even prolonged exposure to the higher dosage of melatonin failed to manifest dependence, tolerance, rebound insomnia, or withdrawal symptoms. Most research has indicated that cognitive behavioral therapies are better for the patient than prescribed medication. Although insomnia should be trained and studied more for every medical student or psychologist, it is known that it is better to go see a psychologist due to their therapy and treatment called cognitive behavioral therapy. When trying to treat such disorders like insomnia, it is best to find out whether or not their treatment plans will or will not affect the patient's mental or physical abilities in life. It's proven that cognitive behavioral treatment is harder for adults who suffer from chronic medical conditions. Remember, if you do suffer from insomnia, the best thing to do is seek a medical professional. That's it for me, and now here's Kevin with tips to improve your sleep.
Thank you. I'm Kevin McGee, and I'm here to tell you some tips that are going to help you get a better night's sleep, whether you have sleep insomnia or not. You need a sleeping routine that includes going to bed and waking up at the same times every night. Say you have an 8 a.m. class on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but your first class on Tuesdays and Thursdays starts at 10 a.m. It is better for you to wake up at the same time every day so you will end up sleeping better. If you sleep more than 2 hours later on the weekends than during the week, this is going to throw off your sleeping routine. Something else you can do is you can read a book before going to bed or listen to relaxing music. But the relaxing music only works on people without sleep insomnia. So if you have sleep insomnia, chances are listening to any form of music isn't going to work for you before bed. Another tip is to keep your environment quiet, comfortable, cool, and dark. Keep a fan on year-round. You can always add more blankets if you get too cold. Having a fan going keeps the place cool and drowns out other distracting noises. Don't study or watch TV on your bed. Also, don't eat 3 hours prior to going to sleep. Exercise regularly, but no more than 2 hours before going to sleep. Then you may become too restless to sleep. Avoid caffeine such as coffee. Avoid nicotine and alcohol beverages in the evenings. Try to avoid as much possible bright screens after you turn out the lights. People who nap end up sleeping less than non-nappers. But if you do want to nap, only nap no longer than 30 minutes and do it early in the day. Another trick for better sleep is the type of alarm clock you have. Red lit alarm clocks are the best. The red light makes chemicals in your brain want to go to sleep. But most alarm clocks are blue lit, and these are the worst for getting to sleep. The blue light stimulates chemicals in your brain that wake you up. Try to avoid these blue lit alarm clocks. And green lit alarm clocks are neutral. They neither hinder nor help you get to sleep better. Now picture this. Try to imagine getting a great night's sleep, which is about 8 hours. You don't use your cell phone after the lights are turned out. Your red lit alarm clock isn't keeping you up, and you start making better grades, which gives you a higher GPA. You're also less irritable and get sick less often. Now isn't this a great trade-off? Better grades and less sickness just for making a few simple changes in your life?
So if you really can't sleep, and we've got a lot of insomniacs in here today, what do you think?
The way you fall asleep, the way we've always fallen asleep, you look out there, you see the sun set. When the sun sets,
Right.
your brain, because it sees the longer rays of sun, will secrete more melatonin naturally. That melatonin makes you drowsy. So if you take a high dose of melatonin, it's not the same thing. It's going to be a very low dose, let's say 0.5 milligram, and you got to take it about 2 hours before bedtime. If you can just remember a couple basic things. The body sleeps better when it's cold. So start at 68 degrees, and if you sleep poorly, get colder and colder and colder. Absolutely essential. Number two is you got to make sure that you're not constrained. So the mattress has to be one that doesn't suck you into it.
Right.
And you also need to have loose-fitting clothing, or even better yet, Marlo, no clothing at all.
Right.
And then the third thing is you got to make sure that you have noise that's manageable. And the last thing that I hope people appreciate is light. And you see bright light late at night, it awakens the brain.
Right.
TV sets, computer screens, and the like. So for the last half hour, it doesn't have to be a boring book, but something that doesn't require you to look into a bright screen will let your body generally ramp down.
That's all for now. Thank you for watching our video, and we'll see you in class.